Hi, this is Dr. Monte. Are you experiencing a lot of sadness in your life? Sadness to the point of severe depression? Depression can be a very serious illness. It can make us feel overwhelmed, like we just don't want to get out of bed in the morning. We can't take care of ourselves, take care of our families. We feel hopeless, helpless, just in total despair. Things can seem pointless. But I'm here to tell you there is hope. This is the first video in my series on fighting depression, and stay tuned because I want to teach you the very first, most important critical step you need to start gaining your life back again. Hi, this is Dr. Monte with Peace in the Storms Ministries. This is the first video on my series of depression. So let's go over some of the basics of depression first. Depression can be a very serious mental illness, a very serious illness. It's one of the most unusual conditions out there because it can be very much a physical problem that you can't control or help. It can also be very much based on psychology and because of the stress in your situation. If you have cancer, you have diabetes, no one's going to think bad about you for trying to cope with those things. They're not your fault. Sometimes depression can be like that. You just can't help it. It's the way your body is. But sometimes depression can be very much situational, and that's what I mean by psychological. If you have a death in the family, if someone really severe, someone breaks up with you, you lose your job, you're moving, all those things are severely stressful and are going to cause some depression. That's psychological. Still normal, but still psychological. And usually depression is somewhere in between that. You might have a little bit where your body is just naturally leans toward depression, but your situation is still tough. But I'm here to tell you, as long as you're not on the complete end of the scale with biology, you can learn to cope with it and make the better situation out of it. I've dealt with some severe depression myself. Sometimes it's just hard to get motivated to do anything. You just want to give up. And I understand that, very much I do. But we've got to work towards solutions and towards healing and toward getting better. I love to give support. I spend sessions and sessions in 7 months giving support and empathy, letting the people, my clients, know that I really understand what they're going through. I do personally, and I've dealt with many, many clients who've gone through hell in their lives, and I've seen how they've overcome it. And so even if I don't fully understand, I've been with people who they understood, and they've learned to overcome it by using some of these techniques. And so it can be done. If I could, I would just reach out there in cyberspace and give all of you big hugs and just repeat back what you're feeling and listen to you and make you feel like I understand what's going on. But we have to keep fighting. For psychotherapy in general, I use a cognitive behavioral approach. It's probably one of the most common, popular types of therapy out there today. And it's based upon the belief that our thoughts guide our feelings and our behaviors. As psychology, that's what psychologists study. That's what human nature is those three things, is feelings, thoughts, and actions. That encompasses everything we are. We believe that our thoughts guide everything. We may have assumptions about life. You may interpret things differently, but you do have some control over that, and that's the good news. Yeah, sometimes our emotions are just kind of running wild for no reason, and they kind of cause us to act and do things we don't normally do. And so we all have some of that extremes, and some people are very emotional like that. But for the most part, our thoughts dictate our feelings and certainly our behaviors. We're not innocent victim to the feelings. And that's another video I'll get to. I want to go very much in detail in another short video coming up soon, dealing with feelings versus thoughts, logic versus reasoning, head versus heart. But I'm here to tell you that it's a common assumption of mine that we can change our thoughts. And that's the good news, because we have hope, because we can look at that. I don't want to sit there and say it's all in your head. One of my pet peeves of mine, since I work mostly with medical field and people who are severely disabled, if I have a nurse tell me, "Oh, Dr. Miller, just go see that person, it's just all in their head, they're just all being dramatic." And I go and talk to the person, I realize psychologically they're doing fine. They're coping with things as well as they can, but they have a real medical problem that the doctors just haven't figured out yet. Yeah, sometimes things are just in their head, but that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't jump to that conclusion that it's just all in your head, because that minimizes your pain and your suffering that's very real inside your head. So I don't want to ever do that. The funny thing is about our brains, though, is that when we're depressed, we start looking for more reasons to be depressed. It's almost like, I hate to say this, but part of us wants to be depressed. I think that sounds stupid. Who wants to be depressed? But there's a part of us sometimes that does want to be depressed, and we have to acknowledge that part of us. We have multiple voices in our head, multiple different little ways of looking at life. And it's like, oh, Dr. Miller, you're telling me I should have multiple voices? I know, it sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? But that is normal. I've been trying to stay in shape and trying to eat well, and so it's like, okay, I love chocolate pie though. So someone presents me this piece of chocolate pie for dessert. The waitress comes by, and it's like, part of me loves that and I want it, but part of me hates it and I don't want it. Those two conflicting, opposing thoughts. And that's going to happen a lot in our relationships and our views about life. Part of us may feel one way, part of us may feel another. The trick to starting to handle things is being able to grip on all those thoughts and put them out on the table so you can properly evaluate, should I do this or should I think that way? You know, I think I'll go this way. But if you just ignore one part and think you just have to feel this way or just have to feel this way, that's when you go down the wrong paths and you make the wrong roads. That's kind of a common theme in a lot of my videos we'll be dealing with, is how we think and what are the thoughts that might be going through our head for us to uncover. So many of our thoughts are that way. We have assumptions and we interpret things and we don't even know that's what we were thinking in our head. Our brains are so smart and go so fast. We can have all these thoughts coming in out of our head and we're not even aware that's what we're thinking. Next thing we know, we're angry and we don't even know why we're angry. And so that's one reason psychotherapy can help, is it helps uncover what those thoughts are and helps you more logically evaluate those. And for you to sit there and the master party control your brain, sit there and think, well, maybe I don't need to be that upset over this because it really is kind of silly because I really am okay. It might be bad, but it's not devastating. Another way of looking at things is being positive or negative, optimistic or pessimistic. I learned this great piece of wisdom. Of all places, Cracker Barrel restaurant. Little plaques up on the wall, and it said, some people look at the thorns on the rose bush, where other people are just happy that there's roses on their thorn bush. Think about that. We all have roses and we all have thorns in our lives. And sometimes we have a lot of thorns, and it's hard to find the roses. But you have the choice. It's in your control. Both are true. But what are you going to emphasize? What are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on all the thorns and ignore the beautiful flowers and roses in your life? Or are you going to be happy that there's some roses in your life? And, okay, there's thorns, I have to deal with those, but I'm going to ignore those. I'm going to focus on the roses in my life. That's a huge point of wisdom from Cracker Barrel. And I think it's a good thing to try to apply to our lives. All right, I promise you one critical thing. This is the one critical thing based upon what I was just telling you. The one critical thing is be aware of the multiple voices. Don't trust the sad voice. When you're severely depressed, you just tune everything else like a horse with blinders. You can't see anything but the negatives. There might be all these other positives out there, but you don't want to look at those. You want to be depressed. Your brain wants to look and emphasize all the negative things in your life. And even though there might be real serious negative things in your life, that's all it wants to look at, and exaggerates those even. And it minimizes the positive things in your life. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's good, but yeah, whatever, I'm not going to look at that. So that's the one critical thing. I want you to start looking for the other voices. Even if you think they might be small and meaningless, start looking for the other voices. They're there, they exist, and you have to uncover those to be able to move on. A lot of what we're going to be doing the rest of the series will be looking at that stuff. But you have to know, first and foremost, that there's other voices. So find that peace, and wish you all the best, and look forward to talking to you more on this depression. Thanks a lot. Please subscribe and like this video and share it if you find it helpful. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.